Welcome to English Stories. Here, you'll improve your English by listening to real, clear stories, slowly told, and easy to follow. The sky is soft with morning light. Flags wave in the wind above the palace walls. Inside the capital, bells are ringing, carriages are arriving, and the kitchens are alive with fire and fragrance. It is the Queen's celebration day, her 27th birthday, and the city of Eldenmore waits to see her step onto the balcony. But the doors stay closed. The guards stand still. The Queen does not appear. If you feel inspired to keep learning, go ahead and like or subscribe. It's a small click, but it means we're learning together. Just relax, listen, and let the language come to you. Let's begin today's story. Queen Elira wakes before sunrise. She moves quietly, wrapping a simple cloak over her silk nightdress. Her shoes make no sound on the stone floor as she slips out through the servants' corridor, then past the herb garden, and finally to the back gate, where a single horse waits. No one sees her go. No guards. No maids. No advisors. She rides alone into the morning mist. Inside the palace, her maid finds the empty room, the rumpled bed, and a small note with only 5 words, "Forgive me. I need air." Panic spreads. First among the staff, then the royal guard, then throughout the court. A search begins, but no one has any idea where she could be. There are no signs of struggle, no noise in the night, no witnesses. It is as if she vanished like smoke. Back in the capital, ministers debate. Some whisper of kidnapping, others of madness. One brave man suggests, perhaps she left by choice. But the room falls silent. A queen does not run. She is duty, honor, tradition. Not smoke. Far from the palace, Queen Elira rides until the sun is high. Her fine dress is dusty, her hands sore from holding the reins. She reaches the edge of the deepwood forest and stops. In the distance, she sees the rooftops of a small village, Fenwick, a place no royal has ever visited. She hides her horse in a thicket and walks the rest of the way. Her hood is pulled low. No one looks twice. At the village inn, she knocks gently and speaks in a calm, unfamiliar tone. "I'm looking for work," she says. The innkeeper, a short woman with gray streaks in her hair, eyes her carefully. "You don't look like someone who needs work." "I need it anyway," Elira replies. The woman shrugs. "Can you sweep?" Elira nods. Then sweep. So begins her new life. She becomes Ella to the villagers. She sweeps the inn, chops vegetables, and serves hot cider to tired travelers. Her fingers blister, and her back aches, but she feels strangely at peace. She has never been this tired. Or this free. One day, a boy named Kalen drops a tray of bread. The room laughs, but Elira kneels and helps him pick it up. "You're not angry?" he asks. "Why would I be?" she smiles. "Most adults are." She pauses. "I'm not most adults." The boy laughs, and something in her heart softens. She sees herself at 10, learning the royal codes, never allowed to drop a thing. The days pass. She learns to cook a little, sew a little, even smile without thinking. But at night, alone in the tiny room above the inn, she looks at her hands and wonders, how long can I hide? Back in Eldenmore, the search slows. The court tells the public she is resting in a safe place. But in private, the king's advisor grows anxious. Without Elira, the balance of power shifts. Rumors spread. Trust thins. The kingdom waits for a sign, but none comes. One afternoon in Fenwick, Elira sits by the well, watching the children play. An old man sits beside her. "You're not from here," he says without looking. "No," she replies quietly. "Running from something?" She nods once. "Then remember this," he says. "You can change your name. change your clothes. But the heart always speaks the truth. He walks away. She sits for a long time, thinking. She looks up at the wide, blue sky. The next morning, she wakes before dawn again. But this time, she doesn't pack or plan to leave. Instead, she walks outside, breathes in the cold air, and begins sweeping the porch like always. She may have vanished like smoke, but now she begins to settle like stone. Key vocabulary. Vanish, to disappear suddenly and completely. Mist, light fog that makes it hard to see clearly. Blister, a painful bubble on the skin caused by rubbing. Key sentence structure. You can, but, used for contrasting actions and consequences, e.g., you can change your name, but the heart always speaks the truth. Elira's days become a quiet rhythm. She wakes early, helps cook porridge in the kitchen, sweeps the floor, and feeds the chickens behind the inn. Her hands are red from the cold, her clothes plain, her crown replaced by a borrowed scarf. But no one looks at her with fear or expectation. For the first time in years, she is simply one of many. The village of Fenwick accepts her without question. The baker offers her warm rolls when they're too burnt to sell. Children wave to her in the morning. Even the grumpy carpenter nods when she passes. Slowly, she begins to feel something unfamiliar, belonging. One afternoon, as Elira carries firewood behind the inn, she trips on a root and falls. The bundle rolls from her arms, scattering across the muddy path. Before she can stand, a young man rushes forward to help. "Are you all right?" he asks, lifting her arm gently. "I'm fine," she says, brushing off her dress. "The tree root isn't." He laughs. "I've tripped over it myself. Twice." They pick up the wood together in silence. Then he offers his hand. "Laren. I help with repairs around here." Ella, she replies, almost forgetting her name. From that moment, they often cross paths. Laren is kind, with a calm voice and gentle hands. He teaches her how to patch windows, how to mend torn cloth, how to sharpen a knife with steady hands. She listens. She watches. She learns. One evening, they sit by the fire behind the inn. Laren speaks first. "You're different from the others." "Different?" she asks. "You listen carefully. You speak like someone who's used to being heard." Elira stiffens. "Is that bad?" "No," he says, smiling. "It's just rare." She turns away. "Maybe I'm trying to be someone else." Laren looks at her, quiet for a moment. Sometimes trying is enough. The wind whistles through the trees. Elira wraps her scarf tighter and stares into the fire. Her face is lit with gold and shadow. In her heart, two lives pull in opposite directions. The next day, news reaches the village. A traveler from the north speaks loudly in the tavern. They say the queen is gone. Vanished. No one knows where she is. A hush falls over the room. Elira freezes behind the counter. The traveler goes on, "They think someone took her, but I say, she left. Just disappeared like a bird out of a cage." Elira lowers her eyes. Her hands tremble slightly. Laren watches from across the room. He notices her reaction but says nothing. Later that night, he knocks on her door. "I brought tea," he says. "Thought you might need it." She nods and lets him in. They sit quietly, the cup warm in her hand. "I'm not who I said I was," she finally whispers. Laren doesn't move. "I was born in a palace. Trained to lead. Taught to smile. But I felt like I was drowning in a sea of gold." She waits, expecting shock or anger. But Laren only sips his tea. "You left because you couldn't breathe," he says simply. Elira nods. "Then I'm glad you came here," he adds. "And I hope you stay." She looks at him, eyes soft. Thank you. In the days that follow, nothing changes, and yet everything does. The villagers still call her Ella, still treat her the same. But now, Laren knows. And somehow, that makes her feel safer. Together, they begin to fix up an old cottage on the edge of the village. It once belonged to a weaver who passed away years ago. With the innkeeper's blessing, they clean it out, one basket of dust at a time. Alira finds a wooden box under the floor. Inside is a faded book of plant drawings, pressed flowers, and notes in a looping hand. It's beautiful, she says. It's yours now, Laren replies. At the market, they trade old tools for seeds. In the spring, they plan to plant herbs, tomatoes, and beans. Alira imagines digging her hands into soil, not signing royal papers. She imagines learning from nature instead of ruling people. But even in peace, memory whispers. One rainy evening, a knock comes at the cottage door. Alira opens it and finds a hooded stranger, soaked and silent. He holds out a small leather pouch, then disappears into the dark. Inside is a sealed letter, and a pendant she knows too well. Her father's pendant. Key vocabulary. Cottage, a small house, usually in the countryside. Tremble, to shake slightly, usually from fear or cold. Pendant, a piece of jewelry that hangs from a chain around the neck. Key sentence structure. Sometimes, is enough, used to show small efforts can be meaningful, e.g., sometimes trying is enough. Alira holds the pendant tightly in her hand. Its shape is familiar, a silver leaf with a blue gem in the center. Her father wore it every day until the day he died. No one else knew where it had gone. And now, somehow, it has found its way to her. The letter is short. Written in her father's handwriting, though faded, it reads. If you have found this, you were right to leave. There are secrets I could not tell you. Go to the lake beneath the stone cliffs. Look in the hollow tree. The truth waits there. Her heart pounds. The lake he mentions is not far, maybe 2 hours' walk from Fenwick. She remembers going there as a child, long before her father became ill. They used to feed ducks and sit in silence. It was their place. And now, it holds something more. The next morning, she tells Laren everything. He listens without interrupting, his expression calm but serious. Do you want me to come with you? He asks. She hesitates. No. I need to do this alone. He nods. Then come back safe. With a cloak over her shoulders, Alira leaves before the sun rises. The path is muddy from last night's rain, and the sky hangs low with gray clouds. Her boots sink into soft earth, but she keeps walking. At the lake, everything is still. No wind, no birds, just the quiet sound of water lapping at the shore. The cliffs rise above her like giants. She remembers the hollow tree, thick trunk, broken branches, and a large opening near the base. She kneels and reaches inside. Her fingers find something hard, a small wooden box, sealed with wax and a ribbon of royal blue. Inside the box, she finds another letter. This one is longer. It tells the story her father could never say aloud. Years ago, before she was born, the royal family signed a secret agreement with a powerful group of nobles. In exchange for wealth and protection, the crown would allow the nobles more control over laws, land, and people. Her father regretted it but said nothing. He tried to reverse it quietly before he died, but he failed. They will come for you, Alira, the letter ends. If you lead, you must fight them. But you must be free first, truly free. I hope you find that freedom in the world, not just the throne. Tears fall from her eyes. For years, she thought her father was just tired. Distant. Cold. But now, she understands. He carried a heavy secret and tried to protect her the only way he could, by leaving her space to choose. She stays by the lake for hours. Thinking. Breathing. Remembering. Then she returns to the village, the pendant around her neck once more. Laren waits on the porch of the inn. When he sees her, he smiles. "You're back." "I am," she says. "And I found the truth." They sit together under the eaves while rain begins to fall again. She tells him everything. About the deal. The power. The lies. Laren listens, then says, "You could tell the kingdom." "I could," she replies. "But who would listen? A runaway queen?" Maybe that's exactly why they would. For days, she thinks. Works. Waits. The letter from her father never leaves her pocket. Then, one morning, a group of riders appears at the edge of the village. Royal colors. Clean armor. Sharp eyes. They ask questions at the market, show drawings of Alira's face, and inspect the roads leading out of town. Whispers begin again. The villagers wonder. Laren watches them from the roof of the cottage. Alira stands beside him, her jaw tight. "They'll find me soon," she says. "Then what will you do?" "I don't know yet." The next night, Alira writes a letter of her own. Not to the crown. Not to the ministers. To the people. She tells them everything, not about her hiding, but about the truth behind the crown. She signs it simply, Alira of Eldon Moor, citizen first, queen second. Laren helps her copy it. They ask the traveler from the north to carry it back to the capital. "Are you sure?" he asks. "Yes," she says. "They need to know who I am. And who I am not." That evening, the search party visits the inn. The lead rider is tall, serious, eyes trained to see lies. "We heard a woman matching the queen's description is here," he says. The innkeeper looks him dead in the eye. "We have many women here. All working. All free." They search. They look at Alira, now dressed in work clothes, her hair braided simply. One man squints. She looks familiar. Alira turns calmly. "Do I?" The man hesitates. Then shrugs. "Must be someone else." The group leaves. For now. Alira breathes again. But she knows the time is short. The kingdom will read her letter. And the crown will respond. Key vocabulary. Hollow, empty inside. Reveal, to show something hidden. Citizen, a person who belongs to a country or community. Key sentence structure. You must, before you can, shows necessary steps, e.g., you must be free before you can lead. 3 days after the letter reaches the capital, everything changes. The message spreads faster than expected. It's read aloud in market squares, posted on town boards, whispered in taverns. People stop to listen, not to royal announcements or formal decrees, but to a simple truth, written in plain words. Words that sound like their own. Words that ask questions no one else dares to ask. In the palace, ministers meet behind closed doors. Some demand her arrest. Others warn that touching her now would only make things worse. "She has no army," says one. "No castle. No crown. But she has something else," replies another. The people. Back in Fenwick, the village begins to shift. Travelers arrive with questions. Journalists, writers, curious strangers. They ask about the girl who serves cider and sweeps the porch. The one who might be a queen. The one who told the truth. Alira keeps working. She feeds the chickens. Washes the floors. But her time alone becomes rare. People want to see her, speak to her, thank her. Some bring gifts. Others bring stories. An old farmer tells her, "I lost my land to those nobles 10 years ago. What you wrote, it gave me hope." A mother with tired eyes says, "We thought no one in power ever listened." Elira listens. That is what she does best now. But the peace does not last. Late one night, Laren returns from the nearby town with news. They've sent another search team. Not guards, royal agents. Quiet ones. She sighs. So it begins. He looks at her. We could run. I'm done running. She prepares. Writes another letter. Shorter this time. I am not hiding. I am here. I will speak with anyone who wishes to speak in peace. But I will not be taken. She signs it. Sends it with another traveler. The next morning, the agents arrive. 3 men. No uniforms. Sharp boots. Cold eyes. They knock at the inn. Elira meets them at the door, hands steady. Can I help you? She asks. One of them steps forward. You're Elira of Eldenmore. I am. You are summoned back to the palace, by royal order. Then let the order come in writing, she replies. And signed by someone who can answer for the truth. The men glance at each other. One of them says, "This isn't a request." And this isn't a throne room, she replies calmly. Behind her, villagers begin to gather. The innkeeper. The baker. Kaelin. Laren. The lead agent studies their faces. Then Elira's. We'll return, he says. I'll be here, she answers. They leave without touching her. That night, the village is quiet. Tense. Elira walks through the center of town. Laren joins her. You knew they wouldn't force you. No, she says. But I hoped. They stop near the well, where they first spoke months ago. You once said I'm different, she says. I didn't believe it then. I just felt lost. And now? Now I feel found. Not because I know everything. But because I finally know who I'm not. Laren smiles. That's a good place to start. Word spreads of what happened in Fenwick. More people travel to hear her speak. Some bring questions. Others bring old wounds. She listens to all. She never calls herself queen again. Instead, she calls herself Elira, daughter of the people. And the people begin to answer. Soon, copies of her letters appear across the kingdom, printed, copied, shared by hand. Her words are studied in schools, repeated in songs, carved into wood. Not because of who she was. But because of what she said. In the capital, the court grows divided. She's building something, says one advisor. And we're watching it happen. She's breaking everything, argues another. But the truth is, Elira is building something new. And the people are ready. A council of village leaders requests her presence. They ask her to help write new laws, not as ruler, but as citizen and guide. She agrees. The next spring, she travels to a mountain town to attend her first open meeting. There are no thrones. No guards. Just benches, ink, and tired but hopeful eyes. Elira stands. She clears her throat. I have no crown, she says. No command. Only words. But if they help us stand together, then they are enough. The room applauds. Laren watches from the back, arms folded, a proud smile on his face. Later that night, as they sit on a hill beneath the stars, he says, You could be queen again, if you wanted. I don't want to rule, she says. I want to help. From the ground. Like a stone. She smiles. Like a seed. Key vocabulary. Summon, to officially call someone to appear. Council, a group that meets to make decisions. Applaud, to clap hands to show approval. Key sentence structure. Not because, but because, used to contrast reason and outcome, e.g., not because of who she was, but because of what she said. Spring warms the village of Fenwick. New leaves shine on the trees, and the garden behind the cottage grows thick with herbs and small green shoots. Elira kneels in the soil, hands covered in earth. The smell of thyme and rosemary fills the air. A soft breeze carries laughter from the square. She closes her eyes. It's been a year since the morning she rode away from the palace. A year since her name became more than a title. She's no longer just a missing queen, she is a voice, a listener, a part of something larger than herself. Letters still come. From faraway towns, even from across the sea. Some are written in careful script, others in crooked lines. All of them share the same feeling, gratitude. People feel seen. Heard. Invited. One letter from the capital surprises her. It bears the seal of the High Council. Inside, a message. Elira of Eldenmore, we request your presence in a new assembly, one led by both citizens and crown. Your voice, born from truth, is needed to help shape the path ahead. Laren finds her holding the letter in the garden. You going back? He asks. She looks at him. Not to live. But to speak. You're ready. No, she says honestly. But I'll go anyway. He nods. Then I'm going with you. And so, they travel back. Together. The road to Eldenmore is long, but no longer lonely. Villagers walk with them part of the way. Others ride out to meet her. When they reach the edge of the city, thousands have gathered. No banners wave. No royal music plays. Just footsteps. Hands. Voices. A path clears as she walks through the crowd. People nod. Smile. Some bow, not from habit, but from respect. Inside the palace gates, nothing has changed. And yet, everything feels different. The great hall is full. Not of nobles in velvet, but of farmers, teachers, traders. People in ordinary clothes, wearing honest eyes. Elira steps forward. Her voice, steady. I was born a queen, but I left to find my breath. I return not with a crown, but with questions. How do we build a nation that listens? That grows? That learns? Silence follows. Then someone claps. Another joins. Soon, the hall echoes with applause. A new council is formed that day. Elira is not its leader. She is one of many. A voice among voices. A stone in the foundation. In the weeks that follow, she travels between cities, helping form new groups, gathering ideas. She speaks of truth, choice, and the value of listening. She tells the story of a girl who ran away, not to escape duty, but to learn how to serve it. One evening, back in Fenwick, she watches the sunset from her cottage porch. Laren sits beside her. Do you miss it? He asks. The palace? Yes. She thinks for a moment. Sometimes. But I don't miss who I had to be there. She looks at the sky, painted with orange and rose. I think I was always meant to leave. Not because I was weak. But because I was strong enough to question. Laren smiles. And brave enough to come back. In time, her story becomes part of the land. A reminder not of power lost, but of power chosen differently. She lives quietly in Fenwick, still helping at the inn, still planting herbs, still writing letters. Some call her Queen Elira. Others just call her Ella. But to most, she is simply a woman who vanished like smoke, and returned as something stronger. Not a ruler. A root. Key vocabulary. Assembly, a group gathered for discussion or decision-making. Foundation, the base or beginning of something strong. Echo, to reflect or repeat a sound or idea. Key sentence structure. Not to, but to, shows contrast in purpose, e.g., she left not to escape duty, but to learn how to serve it. Welcome to the final part of our story. Over the course of Elira's journey, we have explored important words like summon, counsel, applaud, assembly, foundation, and echo. These words help us talk about groups of people, important meetings, and powerful actions in simple ways. We also learned useful sentence patterns such as, not because, but because, and, not to, but to. These patterns help us explain reasons clearly and show contrasts, making our English more natural and easy to understand. Elira's story teaches us about courage, truth, and the power of listening. She was a queen who disappeared like smoke but returned stronger, not as a ruler, but as a guide for her people. Her choice to listen and speak honestly changed her kingdom and inspired many. Vocabulary box. Summon, to officially call someone to appear. Council, a group that meets to make decisions. Applaud, to clap hands to show approval. Assembly, a group gathered for discussion or decision-making. Foundation, the base or beginning of something strong. Echo, to reflect or repeat a sound or idea. Truth, what is real or honest. Courage, the ability to face danger or fear. Disappeared, to vanish or be lost from sight. Choice, the act of deciding between options. Guide, someone who shows the way or helps others. Power, the ability to influence or control. Listen, to pay attention to sounds or words. Return, to come back to a place. Serve, to help or work for others. Discussion question. What would you do if you had to choose between following rules and speaking the truth? Why? End of story. Thank you for listening.